Hull, I mentioned at the start that you were named the BBC Face of Hull.
Yeah.
So what did that mean? How did you get that, and what did that mean to you?
So in 2017, Hull had its City of Culture year. 2016, they put out a call, and I remember just seeing it by chance on Facebook. BBC Radio Humberside are looking for somebody to represent Hull, represent the station. Well, represent the building during the City Culture year. So then we're looking for a fresh face to be the eyes and ears, to be on the ground, doing a bit of reporting for online radio and TV. I saw it and I was like, oh, that's quite cool. I remember just like liking the person and sort of scrolling back. And then a friend of mine sent it to me. He was like, dude, you should do this. Because at the time I'd been home for, how long was I back for? I was back for a couple of weeks. So I left Newcastle. I was at Newcastle.
Is this after uni?
So this is after uni. So I finished uni in 2011, 2012, and then I did a year of my masters. But I was working for Apple at the time, and I couldn't afford to pay for the second half of my masters. So I went full time for Apple. Couldn't do a masters, and I was there till 2015. Left in the February and came home. Went down to London. Was living on my mate's couch for about a year, and working in his I'd recently just gone vegan, and I was working for his cheese truck where we were doing cheese toasties. Really nice, but really expensive cheese toasties at festivals and events in London. He's now pretty much the cheese king of London, but that's a different story. I was doing stuff with friends online, like our YouTube channel, Kofi's Kitchen, which is where I combine vegan cooking with pop culture and comics. And we were doing, me and my mates at CTK Media, which was our company. We'd been doing weddings and events, but in our spare time we'd do like web series and stuff. We'd sort of like, everyone was all around the country, one person was abroad, and it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to get some work, so I went to London and tried to get work in like TV, radio and online. Got a lot of TV and film work, but then I realised the thing that was calling me was like, I miss student radio, I miss being able to do stuff like this, talk about passions, have weird ideas and get people in and discuss music and just, combine your interests in a really unique way. And I kind of felt like, at the time radio was the best outlet for me. And I came home and, I got in touch with some people at Radio Humberside and, really couldn't do much because there wasn't really much going and much available. But then this post came up. My friend Paul was like, dude, you should check it out. Seriously, consider it. So I spoke to my sisters, spoke to my friends and, brainstormed some ideas about it. And then the prerequisites where you have 1 minute to convince the panel of judges why you should be the person.
You did the Wheel of Hull.
Yes, I did Wheel of Hull thing. So it was like a Wheel of Fortune wheel, pie chart sort of divided into like 6 pieces, which meant I would get one of the judges to come up. They would spin it, and it would give me 10, whatever it landed on, it'd give me 10 seconds to discuss, to talk about. So I had, mate, in my memories, I was thinking now, so I had a picture of Spider's nightclub, because I was like, well, it was just one of the best places to go, where all my friends went, the music that was played, like, I've been broken up in Spiders, but I've also been consolidated in Spider. I've had the best times of my life there. William Wilberforce was on there because of his legacy to the city and my love for Wilberforce College. I had the Humber Bridge there because, as soon as you see those lights on the M62, you're like, yes, I'm almost home. I had this is probably a bad choice now. I had a sticker of Viking FM on there, a BBC thing. I was like, I loved Viking FM growing up. Used to go to all the concerts and events they put on, and I was just obsessed with radio as a kid. I had Clive Sullivan, the rugby player, just because I absolutely love. I started one of the main sports I played when I was younger was rugby league, and he was one of the few black rugby league players, and obviously coming from Hull or being like a patron of Hull, he was like an icon for us, and also had Amazing Fantasy comic book shop, which was like. I used to see it as like my, fortress of solitude. Do you know what I mean? So if I was having a bad day at school or college, I would just go there and wander around, speak to Paul who owns it, and save my dinner money up to try and buy some comics that week. And it was really cool. And like with I had 6 little boxes which all had a little prize in it. It had some vegan fruitcake, it had some sweets, it had a refresher lolly, and I had a picture of me at like 3-4 years old to go with it. So when I gave the prizes out to the judges, I was like, okay, so when you're making your decision about who's the face of Hull, please make this little boy's dreams come true. And I just wanted to give them something to remember me, because I thought when I saw the advertisement, I thought there was going to be like hundreds of people there. I thought it was going to be about 1,000 people turn up because it's a big role, because they were offering a year's employment with the BBC, and I thought it might be just doing the odd few things a week. I didn't realise it was going to be a full-time job with a salary that was going to open up opportunities to, do things on BBC News, on BBC World News, do things for Look North, do things online, and have your own radio show on the weekend. It was like fully on with everything, but it was massive. It was a huge opportunity. I thought loads of people would go for it. And there was about 200, just over 200 people there. It was a long day, turned up at 7:45. I didn't get seen until about 4 o'clock. Yeah. But you're talking to people in the queue and stuff. And it was, honestly, it was great. It was a fun day. I was like, well, I'll give it a go. I didn't really think I'd be chosen because when you think about the average person that comes from Hull, you don't think of a black person with piercings and dreadlocks. And I only went to school in Hull, but I lived in Windsor. I grew up in Wivensey. So it might be like, well, it's a bit too on the fringes. People might not accept it. But I went for it. And I managed to get down to the top 10. We had a day's assessment at the BBC, so we had to do radio tests. We did screen tests with Look North and stuff, and then I got down to the final 3, and then it went from 10 to 3, and then 3 to me. And then then, for the City Culture Year, and I said to myself, if I get this role, I'm not going to drink for 2017 because I don't have the best memory, and if you have to do bits of camera and you've got radio stuff and I've got to be up early, I don't want to be hungover and stuff. And I ended up just doing a sober year. I was just not drinking. It makes me sound like I've got a drinking problem, but I was just like, I'm not drinking. I want to be able to absorb it. I really want to take it in. But that year there was so much free booze everywhere, and I was like, I'm really being tested now. We'd go to gallery openings at the fair. We'd go to exhibition openings at the Fair and Art Gallery. 10 o'clock in the morning, and just tables like this, full of red wine, white wine. Do you know what I mean? People ask, do you want beers? Do you want mixers? And all these press events and after parties and stuff. Yeah, and I was just like, oh my days. And I was going to so many parties, just being the only sober person there. It was to be fair, it was fine. Yeah. So I've done stuff like that before where I just I've chosen not to drink for certain periods of time. But it was I said I made a pact with the universe and I'm gonna have to stick with it.
Yeah. So and you did. So
I stick with it. So 2027, 2017. I took in everything, and I just wanted to make a lasting impression because from my second year at uni up until then, so I started the role when I was 26, 27. I spent 6-7 years applying for BBC apprenticeships, BBC trainee schemes, trying to get work experience, work for free, do you know what I mean? And every time getting that little bit further, but not knowing what more you had to do, trying to get that foot in the door. And so I just wanted to make sure that I could try and keep my foot in the door and hopefully get myself in the door long enough that I could hold it open for other people as well. My mum's always been like, no matter what you do, you lift as you rise, because that's the only way that's the only way society excels. Yeah. That's the only way society can grow, for people can sort of realise their ideals and dreams and things. So, it was a big year. I can honestly say it changed my life.